Alright, in this video we are going to discuss and go through the method for labeling a triangle with regards to setting it up for trigonometric calculations. Okay, so this is appertaining to trigonometry rather than Pythagoras. So, example 1, labeling the triangle. Clearly label the hypotenuse, opposite and adjacent sides of the following triangles. Now obviously before we go ahead and do this we need to know what these sides actually mean, and before I even go and define what they are, I'm actually just going to say H, O and A. You'll commonly see them referred to as H, O and A. So just to get used to seeing it, just sort of put them above it and it will help you out in the future. Let's look at the first two triangles. There's 4 triangles we're going to go through. We're going to go through them pretty quickly. Obviously once we've gone through the first it's a matter of repeating. So question A, question B to start with. Alright, now I haven't actually drawn in any angles yet, you might firstly notice. I'm going to do that as we sort of target these questions. So with regards to labeling a triangle for trigonometry, you need to be given an unknown angle, theta. Okay, the reason being is because we cannot actually label an opposite and an adjacent side unless we have this little fellow there or somewhere in that triangle. Okay, so let's say that this is the unknown angle which we are going to refer to in this particular question. This representing of course a right angle 90 degrees. Now the first side I like to label, and I like to teach kids to label, is the hypotenuse, because in Pythagoras it's usually the one that they are most familiar with. So I like to sort of keep that the same, and that's how we're going to start with this one. Excuse me. Now the hypotenuse, just like the Pythagoras method, is the longest side and is located opposite the right angle in a right angle triangle. So what we actually have is our hypotenuse over here for this particular triangle, which you can call, if you want, as we said, H. So there is our hypotenuse. Once we've got our hypotenuse, we can go and determine the opposite and the adjacent side. Now what the opposite side and the adjacent side are referring to, opposite refers to opposite the unknown angle, which is why we need this. If this wasn't here, we couldn't define an opposite nor an adjacent side. So the opposite side, it's really important not to confuse the opposite side with opposite the right angle, because that's always the hypotenuse. Okay, the opposite side is always opposite the unknown angle. Okay, so I'm going to write opposite and O. Alright, and quite obviously, because we've eliminated these two, there's one left, which is the adjacent side. We can simply write in our adjacent side A. Now adjacent means next to, okay, so you could actually define this side before the opposite side, and we do that by suggesting the adjacent side, meaning next to, is next to the unknown angle. Thus why the adjacent side is next to the unknown angle. And we don't confuse that with the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse, as I keep saying, is always opposite the right angle. So there's our first one labelled, O, H and A, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Let's see if we can go through the next one. And I'm going to draw theta this time in this particular angle up here. Now theta of course is just representing that unknown angle. Okay, you can put a question mark there if you want. It's just a symbol representing an unknown value. Okay, we use Greek alphabet, which is this theta symbol. Theta is part of the Greek alphabet, and we typically use Greek letters and the Greek alphabet to represent unknown angles, which is why this is a Greek letter. I could have called it alpha, I could have called it gamma, whatever. Okay, but this is typically what we see. Same process, right angle opposite the right angle is not our opposite side, don't confuse that. Opposite the right angle is our hypotenuse. Okay, and that is our H value. Next is our opposite side. Now that is not opposite the right angle. Once again, it's opposite the unknown angle, being theta. So opposite side is opposite that angle. And O. And last but definitely not least is our adjacent side A. Okay, let's quickly fly through the next two. These ones you'll note I've kind of tried to draw a little bit offset with regards to the lines on the book, because this sometimes does throw people off. You shouldn't, because if you're ever confused, you can always just orientate the book such that your triangle, which is this one I'm looking at, you orientate it up and down just like the others were. So you can always turn the book or turn the page and things like that, or use your mind's eye. But we use the same process for labelling these triangles as we did the last two, A and B. So question C, we've got our right angle. Our hypotenuse is opposite the right angle. Hypotenuse. Now if you find it easy just to recognise that the hypotenuse is the longest side on a right angled triangle, that method also works. We also need to draw in our unknown angle, obviously. I'm going to draw it down here. There's our unknown angle, and that will now allow us to obviously determine the adjacent and the opposite side. And before I do that, and before I forget the next one, I'm just going to put him in there just to set us up. Okay, so the opposite side to this particular unknown angle, remembering that the opposite side refers to opposite the unknown angle, is over here, O, and leaving our adjacent side next to the angle, or the unknown angle. If this is where our unknown angle is, let's go through quickly and do this one. Let's just throw it out of order. Let's start with the adjacent. Why not? Okay, the adjacent side means next to the unknown angle. Okay, so adjacent next to unknown angle. Okay, now just write that just to sort of refresh my memory as well as those people in which I'm teaching. So it's just as much for me as it is for you. It helps me too. Alright, let's start with the adjacent, meaning next to the unknown angle. Alright, both of these sides are next to the unknown angle, but hopefully you could recognise that this is also the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is quite unique in which it's opposite the right angle and also the longest side. So this can't be the the adjacent, sorry, meaning this side here must be the adjacent side A. We just said this was our hypotenuse. H, and our opposite is what will be the angle O. And there we have 4 quick little examples as to how to label a right angled triangle, which is really quite important with regards to setting yourself up for trigonometric calculations. If you can't do this, you kind of condemn yourself in the calculation process, because you're not going to get the right answer if you mix up these sides. Okay, so if you can do this well and quickly, it's going to save you time. It's going to help you out with the calculations, which we will look at in later examples.